Hello everyone, welcome to my kitchen. My name is Michael and today I'm going to show you how to make baked beans from scratch. We're going to start with our dry beans. I've got 1 pound of dry navy beans. I'm going to take those and put these in this bowl. I'm going to kind of put my hands on them because I don't want them bouncing all over the kitchen here. And we're going to take them and we're going to go through them. So looking at these beans right now, there's a couple of them here that I'm looking at and I want to kind of show you what those look like. You can see there's one here that's kind of got a yellow spot to it. That's got a bad one on it. And then I'm going to go through and pick another one out. And I saw another one over here. So what you want to do with these is you just want to kind of go through them and check to see if you see any of the beans with any bad spots on them. And sometimes you might see some dirt or even some little bitty rocks and things. I've seen some of those in some pinto beans. But these look pretty good. I don't see anything in those like that. But you definitely want to go through your beans and we're going to pick out the bad ones. I'm going to continue to work on these and I'll be right back and show you what this looks like. All right, I am back and I wanted to show you. I pulled quite a few of those out of there. So if you take a look at those, that's what I pulled out of there that I did not want into my mixture. So there was some broken ones in there that are broken in half. So I went in and took those out. So now I'm going to discard these. I'm going to go to my sink and give these a triple wash and use my colander to drain off the water out of them. All right, I am back now and I've got my beans washed here and I did find a couple more in there that I decided I wanted to take out of that. So now we're going to put water in our beans and this is just cold water right out of the tap. And I've got about 1/2 tablespoon of salt here and this is 2 cups. So I'm going to put about half of that in there and just take the back of this spoon handle and just kind of give that a little mix through there so that kind of gets incorporated into that. Then I'm going to take that and put that over the top of my beans. And because the beans was 1 pound, that was about 2 cups. I'm going to go get me 2 more cups of water and then it'll be 4 cups of water total for my beans. All right, so I got another 2 cups of water. We'll finish putting the rest of that salt in there and we'll put these over our beans. All right, so now we got all of our water over our beans and we want to do that because roughly we've got about 2 cups of dry beans in here. And so we want to double that so we get about 4 cups of water in those because as these sit overnight in this brine of salt here and water, these are going to swell up and almost double in size. So we want to make sure that the beans stay under the water, so we're going to double the amount of water that you got. And I'm just going to put these in the microwave and just let them sit in there. That way the dust and things aren't getting on them. And so we're going to let these sit overnight and I will be back with you in the morning. And with the magic of editing, I'll see you back and we'll get started working on our baked beans from scratch. Stay with me. I am back and it's been 12 hours and our beans have soaked overnight and I wanted to show you what those look like. You can see just by moving this water around here that I'm glad I put a lot of that extra water in there, so you always double the beans that you've got in there because they will come up almost to where your water level is. So now I'm going to go back to the sink with my colander and I'm going to pour this water out and give these a good rinse and I'll come back and we'll start putting our baked beans together. All right, now that we've got our beans rinsed, I've got them sitting in this colander just to kind of drain any more of that water off, and I've got about a medium-sized onion here, medium to large, and I'm going to take that and I'm going to dice that up. All right, I've got my onions chopped up now and I used a little over half of it. It was about a cup is what this is, so if you're kind of measuring along, it's about a cup. Kind of looked at what I had here with my beans, and depending on what size onion you got, you can overpower it with too much. So that's about a cup of onions, and I put the rest of it away because I'm going to use that for another dish. So now I've got some hickory smoked bacon here. This is thick sliced hickory smoked bacon, and this is 6 slices. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to cut this up into about 1-inch little squares. Show you what that kind of looks like there. So that's kind of where I want that bacon to be with that. So I'm going to continue to cut this up. All right, now that I got my bacon cut up, you can see what I've done with that. And just the end pieces of that, I'm not going to put that in there. I don't have any meat on it and I kind of want the meat taste to it. So I've just got the portions with the meat on it and I'm going to transfer that back to this plate. And I'm going to go wash my hands and we'll get ready to start putting our baked beans together. All right, I am back now and I'm going to put in my bacon that I've got here on my plate. I've got just a little bit of oil in the bottom of my Dutch oven here. And I'm just going to kind of wake this up a little bit and give it a little bit of a brown. I love the flavor that this hickory smoked bacon gives to our baked beans, and I know you're going to really like it also. So we'll just continue to cook this until this is brown. I am back now and I wanted to show you my bacon, what that looks like here. I just wanted to kind of wake it up and get that on a little bit of a start and add some of that seasoning to the bottom of my pan. So now that I've got that where I wanted, I'm going to take that bacon out. I wanted to show you what I've got now. I've got a lot of that bacon grease that's cooked off that. I'm going to take a lot of that out because I don't want my baked beans swimming in that. So we're just going to take some of that out, and I'll save that for another recipe. We don't want to let that go. All right, I'm going to leave just a little bit in there now because I'm going to take my onions and I'm going to put them in, and I'm just going to wake them up in just a little bit of that bacon grease in the bottom. This is what my onions look like. I wanted to show you what those look like now. So we have those ready to go. So I'm going to take my beans here that I've got, and I'm just going to put those right in and just kind of give that a little bit of a toss through with my onions. And all that seasoning from that bacon is going to get right in there with those beans. All right, we can add our bacon back in now. We'll go ahead and add that in now. Now let's add our other ingredients. I've got 2 teaspoons of dried mustard. We'll put that in. I've got a half a teaspoon of black pepper. I've got a half of a cup of molasses. I've got 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. I've got a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I've got 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. I've got 1 bay leaf that I'm going to drop in. And now I want to add the water. So what I want to do now is I want the water to come up to where it's about a 1/2 inch over the beans. So we'll take a look at that. Your pot's going to differ by how much you put in there, but I'm going to start with this 2 and see what we got. I know that's not going to be enough. All right, so I'm going to go get some more water and I'll be right back. All right, I did add another 2 cups of water to that, so I wanted to show you what that looked like and just kind of give that a little stir through. Now I want to bring this up to a boil. My beans have come up to a boil. I wanted to show you what that looks like now. So now that everything is all incorporated into our dish here, I'm going to put this into my preheated oven at 300. Make sure, if you don't have a Dutch oven, that you've got an oven safe dish that you can put this in with the lid on it. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this off. I'm going to put this lid on it. I'm going to put this in my oven and I'm going to cook it for 2 hours. At 1 hour, I'm going to come back and look at it just to make sure that the beans are still covered with just a little bit of water on it. And if it's not, I'll add just a little bit more water to it, but we'll cook these for 2 hours and I'll bring you back and we'll show you what that looks like. All right, stay with me. All right, I am back. It's been 1 hour. I wanted to show you my beans. So the water has cooked down a little bit, so I'm going to add just a little bit more to the top. And you can see it didn't take much just to kind of bring it back up. And I'm going to put it back in the oven and we're going to continue cooking this for 1 more hour at 300, and I'll be back to show you what we'll do next. All right, it's been another hour now for a total of 2 hours, and let's check our beans. These look absolutely incredible. I just want to kind of see the moisture that's on them. So you can see here I pulled up on the side. So we've still got moisture in our beans. Now I'm going to put these back in the oven with the lid off on the same temperature, 300. At this point, I'm just going to watch them. Maybe between 30 minutes to an hour, depending on how fast your stove cooks. I'm looking for a lot of that to bake out of there now. So I just want to kind of let that thicken up a little bit, and that will come out of there pretty quickly. So keep a watch on these, and we'll be back, and our beans will be done. I'm back. My beans did cook the full hour on that, and I did cook the liquid down. I did not completely cook it all the way out because I still wanted some in the bottom of it, but it did thicken up what was there. So once it was done, I took it out and I let it sit with the lid on it, and you can go in after you do that. You can see all of this nice seasoning here on the sides. We can push that back down in there because that really softened that up. So if you want that back into your beans, definitely just kind of scrape that back down in there and just give these a good stir through to combine all of the ingredients that were on the top. And you can see how much liquid I've got in. I've got just a little bit left in it. Didn't completely cook them all the way out. And that is our beans from scratch. So I'm going to get me a little bowl of this. Oh, there's the bay leaf. I definitely want to take that out. I do not want to leave that in there. And we can see we've got some nice coloring on our beans. The bacon looks incredible on those. We've got just the amount of right of liquid in the bottom of it that has, see, it's almost just disappeared back into the beans once you get them stirred up. So definitely let them cook a little bit longer so you can get them to thicken up a little bit more. And I'm going to get me a little spoonful of this out, and we're going to give this a try. I'm definitely going to have to let these cool down because you can see these are piping hot. So when you get ready to serve these, I've got some these green onions that I've got cut up here. You can definitely put that on your dish when you get ready to serve that, and that will make a nice garnish on that. So definitely, I want you to give these a try. I know you are going to love them. And so I'm going to let these cool off, and we will be back, and I'll give me a test. Those are incredible. You're gonna have to try these baked beans. These are absolutely delicious, and that taste of that bacon in there, with just the right amount of those brown sugar and those molasses, you can really taste that in there, just a little bit of hint of sweetness to it. So I hope this has inspired you to make baked beans at home. You control what you put in it. If there's any of the ingredients that you didn't like in it, you definitely don't have to put those in it. If you like this content, maybe you might want to try one of these other 2 videos over here. You might find something else you like. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and try these baked beans. I know you are going to love them. Delicious.